Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times, Good Stories podcast. My name is Joe Flanders. I hope you are having a great first week of September. Back to school, back to work. If you didn't work in the summer, if you did work in the summer, then I suppose nothing has changed other than maybe your driving time is longer because everyone else is back at school. So, yay, September! I'm excited September is coming. Even though there's not really seasons in LA necessarily, I like the idea that elsewhere, leaves are going to start changing colors, sweater weather is coming in, football is back. I love the fall. My guest today is Dhruv Uday Singh, who's a really talented improviser at the Upright Citizens Brigade Comedy Theater here in Los Angeles. He's also appeared on a bunch of podcasts like Comedy Bang Bang and numerous others. And I appreciate him coming on and being totally open and honest. As he says multiple times, he does not come off well in these stories, particularly the second one. Both are romantic in theme. The first was what one will do when they're in love for the first time. In his case, he was living in India, where he was born and raised, and decided to make a website for his girlfriend. Now, this is early 2000s, and he goes into all sorts of fun detail about how he went about making that website and the awkward ramifications both at home and with his girlfriend. So that's a lot of fun. And later in life, after a long relationship, he stumbled into a bit of an old affair. And while no one on this program condones affairs, it was a fascinating story and an inside look as to where one's mind has to be to have an illicit, hot and dirty affair and how that came to an end. So again, I really appreciate Dhruv for coming on and being so open and honest. As I've said before, that is the theme of the show. I think all of us have done asshole things, but as I told him, I rarely come off looking like a saint of any kind based on all my stupidity. It was really fun to have such an open and honest and funny conversation. So thank you, Dhruv. Also, thank you to everyone who has been leaving reviews on iTunes for this show. I really appreciate it. It's really nice that over the last couple weeks I've been able to see that number climb. I think we're at 38 reviews now, and if we could get to 50, that would be fantastic. So if you listen to this show regularly, consider just chiming in, giving your support. Again, that just helps me book guests and eventually find sponsors so that the show can really grow. And I'm really excited about the show, where it's going. And all the reviews that you guys have been leaving really helps get the ball rolling. So thank you for that. As always, you can check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com, where you can listen to past episodes, look at the merch, and support me on Patreon. Another big thank you to our new patrons of the show. That is Pippi Wild, Katie O'Neill, and Catherine Wilson. I really appreciate you guys throwing me a few bucks each month. I know that you guys can spend your money on literally anything that you want, and it means a great deal that a few of those dollars are going to me and the supporting of this show. If you would also like to donate, you can check that out through badtimesgoodstoriespod.com and check out the cool tiers and prizes and things that I will send your way should you decide to donate. You can also email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. If you have a bad time that would make a good story, feel free to email it to me, and I may just read it on the air. Stick around after the show, and I will be reading an email that really meant a lot to me. Not necessarily a bad time, just some kind words about the show that I'd like to share with you because it made me feel good. But now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Dhruv Uday Singh. I feel like vape pens now are what. Well, I guess we still haven't cracked Red Bull. I just have a feeling in like 20 years, Red Bull and vape pens and all this, it's going to be like the way we look at cigarettes now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, of course this wasn't good for you. Yeah, there's no tar, but like they claim that it's all like, right.
It's not, totally.
Because they're claiming it's like all natural flavors and everything in these vape pens. I'm like, I don't know if there's like a natural root beer flavor. That seems like that's manufactured.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, Red Bull and all that. I'm just convinced.
Oh,
it's
God.
like
Red Bull and shit.
And Monsters and...
there's no way that stuff is good.
I mean, because you got to think about, like, how is what they're doing any better than Surge back in the day?
Yeah.
And I feel like Surge was banned eventually.
Yeah.
And somehow they're back now in, like, those boutique soda stores. You can find Surge
really?
now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like it's on eBay or something. I don't know. Maybe it's from 1998. I don't know.
That's a good point.
They didn't last.
Yeah, Red Bull. They don't seem. Even people who still drink like Red Bull vodkas and shit. I'm like, yo, I don't know how that's safe or healthy. Because like Four Locos, I remember were a thing when I was in college. And those got banned because it's just stimulant and depressive in one drink.
Right. Yeah.
Can't be good for you.
Where'd you go to school?
College, USC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've been in. When I came to LA. I've been here like 14 years. Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
In India, in Mumbai.
So you came here for college?
For college.
Oh, right
so I was like almost 18. Yeah, 17, 18. Yeah.
Wow. Do you still have? I assume you still have a lot of family there.
Yeah, all my family's out there pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was visiting. I think I said in my email, right? When I was
that's
just
right.
visiting friends and family.
Do you get back like every year or
I haven't for a while, but I'm trying to get back into it. I'm trying to get back a couple times a year if I can. It's just such a long flight that you gotta. I had to book. It was like 3 months before. I was like, great. I think I'm gonna have 10 free-ish days. I want to let everyone, my agents, everyone know so that they don't book, so that it's like sequestered up. And they were nice enough on the show to kind of work around that schedule, and thank God it worked out.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's how I got to do it. I just got to be like way in advance, plan these things.
I think you're right. Yeah, because you have a solid excuse for not getting back, given that it's on the other side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I'm from Ohio, and I haven't been back in like a year and a half.
Yeah,
I love my family. I'm not avoiding them, but it's just I just think about it. And it's like, ugh. That's my reaction.
I get it. Also, like LA has this weird magnetic thing where you're constantly worried about missing shit.
Yes,
and it's like fuck that. Like you can't be.
I know. That's so true.
It's not as important as real life.
I remember I was saying that somebody was just like, "Tell me what you did the last 3 weeks." It's like, ugh. Boy, not much. That's what you're going to miss.
Exactly. You always think it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
So your girlfriend? Are you guys engaged or anything?
Gilly and I? No.
Okay.
Not engaged. Still
that on the spot.
Dating. Yeah. Are we on there?
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was all recording.
Hopefully you haven't said any state secrets or anything.
Yeah, have I? Now I'm thinking about the last.
I'll give you a final edit of of this. I'll send it to you.
Very much.
Make sure we're not giving anything away. But
I think I'm fine. I think I didn't say anything.
I don't think so either. Yeah. Travel and. But yes, your girlfriend Gilly, friend of the show.
She's been on, yes.
Did you guys meet in college?
No, we met here at UCB like the last 3 years ago. At UCB, yeah. She's also comedian, meet her on the scene. Yeah.
Well, I assume it's safe to say you're in a good relationship now. But in the past, it sounds like maybe everything you've learned previously you've now applied to your current relationship.
I think so. I think that's the nice thing about age and time and relationships. The bad thing is you make a ton of mistakes and you're an idiot in many ways. In ways both you're on your own fault, which I've certainly been, and on the reverse side of like getting into weird situations.
Most definitely.
I've certainly made mistakes. Another way of prefacing, because this show's called Good Times, Bad
Times,
Good
Times, Stories.
Good Stories. Yes.
Yeah.
In my case, at least one of them should also be bad people. I'm not gonna come off looking very good in at least one of these stories.
That's fine. I rarely come off good myself.
Okay, great.
Yeah, last week I was talking about, and actually we just had coffee on Tuesday because she texted me, but I had a girlfriend in college. My only college relationship, senior year, and after graduation, we went up to Ohio for her to meet my family for the first time and go to my brother's high school graduation. She met my parents, my brother, the extended family. We drove back down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is like a 6-hour drive, and that night I broke up with her.
Jeez.
So she had the same day.
Brutal.
So talk about an asshole thing to do.
Ugh.
And
Was she so bummed or mad?
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah. She cried also, but I was crying a lot too because it wasn't like I want to get you. But in my head, I was just graduating. I knew I was coming out here in the fall, and I was like, I just got to like figure it out this summer and like do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so I was already feeling that way.
Whiplash syndrome. Have you seen Whiplash?
Yeah.
You know that scene where he breaks up with I forget her name, but very, very true to many, I think, aspiring or would-be artists. Like you're just like, fuck this shit, I went out.
Did you ever see Sweet and Lowdown, the Woody Allen movie?
No, it's one of the few. I've seen almost every Woody Allen movie, which is not like a hard fact to like celebrate. But
me too. But Sweet and Lowdown is with Sean Penn, and his own character is just battling that the whole time. I highly suggest it. It's really good. That out. Yeah. But thankfully, she texted me. It was just like, hey, man, is that really still haunting you? I was like, I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night.
She heard the episode and that's nice. She listened to it?
And she was just like, it's cool, man.
Oh,
like,
that's nice. What a nice gesture.
Yeah. I think she was like, it was like 8 years ago.
Okay,
so
nice.
But anyway, so why did I start this whole tangent? Oh, right, because you may not come off looking so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a weekly occurrence for me.
I'll say it now. I definitely won't.
Okay,
Look, right. The audience already knows that I've watched almost every Woody Allen movie. They already like that. Not in my corner. To be clear, to the audience, I don't. It's not that I like the movies. I just want his personal life. You know, that's what I admire. So take that as you will. I just really want to be Woody Allen as a person. I want to marry my what was it? Wife's like stepdaughter,
adopted daughter.
Adopted daughter. That's what I want.
That's what you want. So was this first story once you were already in the U.S.?
No, this first story. Yeah. So I guess let's get into it. This is from the time I was like around 14 years old. I grew up in Mumbai, India, like I said, and I'll preface this by like, I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about how like our generation, like if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, or even maybe mid 30s, maybe you're like the last generation. We're the last generation to remember what life was like before the internet.
Absolutely.
You know, like the generation after us, they were alive then, but by the time they came into their proper memories, it was already becoming a part of daily life. It was already, and now it's just we use it every day, every moment of every day, almost, right?
To do everything.
To do everything. And I feel like we're the last generation to still remember what it was like then, because it was such a game changer. So this is around that time and has to do with the internet a little bit, the story.
Okay, so this is like the internet was new?
The internet was pretty new, pretty new. So it was right around the time the internet was starting to kind of become part of our daily lives, and it was also the time I like met the first like love of my life in school. I don't know if should I change her name or not. I don't know if that's.
It's up to you.
I don't know what the protocol is here. If like
it's 50-50. Some people change it, some don't.
The chances she would listen to this are like a snowball in hell. There's almost no way she's scouring my podcast. So is he talking about me? And can I text him?
And if she is, honestly, I think she's got her own issues.
Yeah.
She's listening to everything you've ever done.
Oh my God! Oh boy.
Waiting. Is he going to mention me?
When am I going to come up? All right, I'll change it.
Okay.
Well, I won't change it. Fuck it. Well, maybe I'll change it. The listener doesn't know. You'll never know. Our listeners will never know unless they're her. All right. So I fell in love. She was this girl in like our school, Diane. I'll just say her name. She was like, to me, the most like cool. She was this popular, beautiful, you know what I mean, incredible person that I'd ever met. And you're at that age too when everything is so turned up. The volume on everything is turned up. The colors, everything is just intense. Oh yeah. And I was like intensely head over heels in love with her right away.
Do you know what it was that you were crazy about her? Like,
I think she was just so. Girls are more mature than boys at that age anyway. I think girls mature early, but she was so carried herself like such an adult so quick. I think that was very attractive. Like so comfortable in her skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like beautiful, obviously attractive in all those ways, but also just like so comfortable and cool with her kind of popularity that I was
Sure.
I was like, oh my god, she's so like a fucking movie star at
It all
that
just
age.
seemed really easy for her. Like, not, I don't mean life, but just the way she carried herself. Was
Yeah.
just, like, comfortable. And
Yeah, very cool. Which at that age, when you're a mess of insecurities and hormones, you're like,
Yes.
that's so, what a beacon. So I like fell in love with her, and we kind of became friends. We started, just casual friends as you are at that age. We started like talking first on ICQ, which in India was then the equivalent of, I guess, what like AOL Messenger was here.
AIM,
Yeah.
yeah.
In I think all of Asia, pretty much people used ICQ a lot, which is a similar whatever little chat app. We started talking on that, and then that slowly graduated to kind of these long phone calls, as you do at that age, at all times of night, right?
Yes.
And slowly but surely we started to kind of flirt and get to know each other more until one sort of like well, here's the weird thing too. She was kind of seeing this other dude in our class,
Okay.
which should have been like a warning sign or something, a red flag. But
What was kind of seeing at that age?
I mean,
Were
at
they
that
just
age,
like-
how much are you?
Yeah.
They're kissing or whatever. You're
Sure.
not like you're not. It's not like you're like in a committed thing. You're just like
Right.
we kissed like
We're not
5
sharing
times.
a mortgage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever seeing each other at that age means.
Okay.
And then, but regardless, all those phone calls were building up, and then one night on her, like one warm, balmy night in Bombay, on her balcony overlooking the ocean, we ended up kissing, and it was fucking sparks going off. Right? She like stopped seeing that other dude, and we started kind of going out at that point after that, and it was like magical. It was it was just I couldn't believe it. It was such a crazy thing. We were already kind of for that young an age, I think both pretty, let's say, a little ahead of our times as we should have been in terms of sexually. We were kind of getting into it a little early.
Yeah.
And she, which I only say that to preface what's going to come because it's
I don't
important.
assume you're bragging. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I was 14, getting so much trim. Every time I say a douchebag thing, I should do it like Woody Allen. Now that we've established that,
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
When I was 14, I was cleaning up sexually. So creepy to say that. But it was it was a magical relationship. It was just incredible, but it was also very stressful at the time because, like I said, she was so popular and I was so fucking insecure. Every guy wanted to date her in our class, in our school, and she hadn't quite told people that we were going out with each other. But and so every dude was flirting with her. At one point, this kid, 2 years older than me, came up to me on the school bus and was like, "Hey man, just so you know, I'm gonna ask Diane out." What a fucking thing to do.
So I was going to ask where you sort of fell in line in the school patriarchy.
Oh, in the pecking order of it.
Yeah, the pecking order.
I mean, I wasn't crazy. I went to a really small high school. The school I went to was only each grade had 30 kids. It was so small.
Okay.
The one till the 10th grade. Then I went to one that was bigger for the 11th and 12th. But it was so small that there wasn't it's not what I imagine from pop culture an American high school is
Right.
where there's cliques of jocks and nerds and whatever. I don't know if that's
Sure.
true or not, but
Yeah.
at least that's what every TV show and movies told me.
Right.
It's more I was popular enough, but I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't the big dude on campus or whatever.
Well, and I imagine too, so did you go to the same school, K through 8, kindergarten through
the 10th grade.
10th grade?
And then a different one for the 11th and 12th grade.
Because I went to a public school up until high school, and then I went to a Catholic high school. I was the new kid there, but most of those people were in the same scenario where they were in kindergarten. For them, it was kindergarten through 8th grade, and they were in 30-person classes. And
yeah.
so they've kind of explained it to me, and it's like you're saying, when you've known each other for that long, there isn't that. Yeah, there isn't that really cool, really nerdy kid. You all just know each other really well.
You all kind of know each other, so that they're not cliques as much as there are some friend groups.
Sure.
But they're not as demarcated, I guess.
Did you have the thing where in certain grades you were better friends with some people and then you stopped?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Since I didn't have that, it's just an interesting thing.
It is so interesting because
you know?
definitely, I think that's so true. We were so close in 4th grade, and then you know what I mean. Something happened.
Or it didn't. It just kind of faded. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
people change. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the nice thing about that group of friends, though, is that because it was such a small class, the ones who I'm in touch with still are close with, when we meet again, like when I'm either home and everyone is there, or a lot of them are flung all over the globe now. A lot of them moved to Europe or America.
Sure.
But when we go back around like the holiday time or for someone's wedding or someone, there's a tightness that is there with most of us.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
pretty
I mean?
cool.
Yeah, there's also some drama in politics, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because some of them have dated and some of them have, you know what I mean,
Right.
have had intimate relationships.
Okay. All right. So you were well liked enough.
Well liked enough, but I still felt very insecure because she was so like desired.
Right.
Understandably, she was just a real catch, and she. And so I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold on to this. I think I was also residually insecure because she had dated someone else and then kind of stopped to date me. So I was always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was always worried I would lose her. And I was like, I need to kind of like win her over with one like big grand gesture. Like, you know what I mean? Prove that I'm the only dude who should be in her headlights.
Right.
And like our first Valentine's Day was coming up as a couple together. Okay. And I was like, great, this is my chance. This is my chance to like do something, either like take her somewhere or do something or get her a big gift or something. That's just going to win her over once and for all. Right?
How long had you guys been together when Valentine's Day came?
Not long. Probably a couple months.
Okay.
At best. Yeah, a few months at best.
Okay.
And I was like, great, this is my shot. I'm going to like win her over with something huge. Right.
Yeah.
I was like, well, can I like buy her something? No, I wasn't like, what could I afford as a fucking 14-year-old kid that would be impressive? Could I take her somewhere? I was like, that's not personal. I need to do something like personal and meaningful and beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. I was like, I'm going to make her a website. So, like I said, I was a huge nerd, big relation to the internet here. And I was like, great, I'm going to build her like a Valentine's Day website as a gift. So I sat down at my like family computer. We had like one computer then.
Yeah, me too.
This was, not the age yet where everyone had their own little MacBook Pro or whatever.
Exactly.
And I started like coding this website, right? And I pulled out all the stops on this website. I mean, there were like frames, all right, which was a big phenomenon in early 2000s web programming. There was clip art. There was like these gothic theme. There were ornate dividers. I mean, it was a romantic website. There were little...
You're just sitting there doing it like, I'm so money.
Oh, I'm such a fucking pimp right now. Just sitting there, this little fucking 14-year-old kid thought he was so smooth. Little like angels and shit like that, all over the place. Really just, there was like an early CSS style sheet, which, hey, if you're a fan of early 2000s web programming right now, you are fully wet or completely hard just hearing that. It was hot. And then there was the pièce de résistance that I thought, which is that if you clicked on like one corner of one of the little angels' wing, the website was like, little sweet messages and probably a poem and a bunch of other shit like that. But if you clicked on one angel wing, it would bring up a prompt to type in a password that I would give her. And when you typed in the password, it would lead to a page where there was a custom written first person erotic story featuring the two of us as characters. This is why I preface by like we were already sexually active. We were already this wasn't out of nowhere. But I was like, this is the money move. There's a story with the two of us, right?
So did you guys go all the way?
We did not until after. Well, I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, I don't want to give anything away.
We kind of did, but it's hard to say. It's
I'm glad I sounded like a 14-year-old asking if you went all the way, too.
You get the fourth base, boss?
Wow! Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So you had the erotic art.
We had erotic story
novel.
with the two of us as characters, right? So I sat down and I wrote this on the computer, and I wrote this very steamy erotic story about the two of us, and I saved it somewhere like deep on the hard drive, hid it in some like deep folder, and then I made the website. I put all this into it. I like sent it to her, to Diane, and then hid it somewhere on the hard drive. And then I was like, great. Now I proceed to wait because I was like, can't wait to hear. I hope she fucking likes this. And I waited, and I didn't hear anything. And I waited, I didn't hear anything. So then I went and I sat down. My mom came home, and she's a writer in India, and she was like writing. She had to write like an article to use the computer. So I went and sat on the like bed in the same rooms in my like parents' bedroom, and I sat down on the bed and pretended to like do some homework
right
while she was there, but just like waiting with bated breath to hear. my mom starts using the computer and writing this article. And I'm just like, fuck, when am I going to hear from Diane? And then while I'm pretending to study, I hear my mom go like, oh. I didn't know what that was. And I looked up and I kind of heard her go like, oh. And I moved closer. And she's still on like Microsoft Word, which was the thing she was writing an article on. But she hitting Control V, which if you know Windows is the paste command to paste text that's been copied to the clipboard. And what's getting pasted over and over is a sentence from the erotic story that I wrote. Specifically, this sentence is getting pasted. I duck under the table and start to eat Diane's pussy. Is getting pasted over and over by my mom 1 foot from my face. Nonstop. I remember like just fucking panicking like an animal. I remember jumping forward and being like, it's a virus, it's a virus. And like, fully knowing, she knows that there's no virus that customizes your son's girlfriend's name in a fucking...
It's the cookies.
Yeah, cookie, just making up terms. Yeah. And I remember like copying another word to the clipboard quickly and deleting it and being like, oh, and just running out of the room. And I was like, I can't look my mom in the eye for 2 weeks.
I'm glad you played it cool.
That's so cool.
Well, I don't know how you do in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, I could barely. And so I ran to the other end. I was fucking like sweating. I just locked myself in my little room and didn't come out. And then a little bit later, Diane called. And the good news was she loved the website. And she read the story and was like, it was very hot. Oh. So she was into it. I was like, okay, maybe I've succeeded and won her over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then she cheated on me like several times. So it's not as successful a strategy. Don't make your girlfriend a website if you're a fucking kid.
Do you still have that erotic writing?
I don't think so. I would love to find it, but I don't think so. And I would love to find it more to just like show at a show or something to be like, this is my greatest shame.
Yeah,
please look at this. But I don't think so. I don't know where the fuck I bet there's like a floppy disk, one of those like 3.5-inch floppies that were around then somewhere in my like dad's home, so like in a closet somewhere. I bet it's somewhere. Yeah.
Did you take the site down like as soon as you found out she broke or like cheated on you?
I think that site went down quick. Anyway, it was on one of those like temporary hosting websites, when GeoCities, Tripod, all those things that like kind of all went defunct after I don't know a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the real heyday of homegrown content websites, as I recall.
Man, that's like the ultimate gesture. That's a hell of a...
It was an interesting gesture. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Hey, but if you are Diane, or that could be a different name, or whatever your name is, or whatever. I don't know. Text me. No, don't text me.
Who did she cheat on you with? Was it somebody from your grade?
It was an interesting sit. Damn, I'm giving away so many details. I really hope she doesn't fucking listen to this because this is not meant to be like a takedown of my girlfriend from me. She's like happily married now.
Right, I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was initially it was a weird situation where I was a fucking idiot for like staying in a relationship that wasn't great, but I also didn't know any better. I was like, this is the love of my life. It was someone in our class that she had a kind of summer fling with, she said.
Okay.
And then she went to like a school for like a year that was outside the city. Like it was like for her 11th and 12th grade. In India, it's a weird system where for those 2 years you go to either a junior college or a different place. And we should have broken up then probably because I was like, well, you moved away and we're we're teenagers.
Right.
But that I think it was a bunch of dudes there when because she was having whatever, you're a teenager.
Yeah,
you're enjoying yourself. I should have been smart and been like, all right, we're done. So then we can both just enjoy our late adolescence. Yeah, it was, I don't know, you live and you learn.
Right,
You live and you learn.
All my gestures, I never even got so far as to give it to the person.
Mm-hmm.
I was always awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also late to the party. Like, I didn't even discover masturbating until I was a freshman in high school. And I remember, like skipping home on the bus. It's just so I could go upstairs and, like...
The moment you discovered it?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Whereas, like, everybody else was in, like, 7th grade talking about whether or not they had pubes. And I was just, like, listening to burn CDs that had Monty Python sketches on them. You know, I was I was always just behind on everything.
Late bloomer on it. Yeah.
And I remember in 8th grade, there was a girl I was into named Melissa, and I bought her a scarf. I got to the mall and I was there for 7 hours just looking at scarves at different stores and trying to, I'd love to say I was just weighing the look and feel, but I was also weighing the price because I was like 13 or something. And I bought one, and this is out of the blue because she has no idea how I feel or anything. And it is around Christmas, so it's not like it's just a random day.
Yeah.
But I think it was like the day, it was the last day before winter break.
Mm-hmm.
I put it up in the closet, all wrapped, ready to go, picked it up, brought it down the stairs confidently, and then just put it next to the door. And then when I got home, it went back up to the closet and stayed there until I left for college. And then I found it. And I was like, I wish I could just laugh fondly on this, but this says so much about even where I am now.
Yep.
I just completely lost the confidence. It's something that's truly, it just bothered me for years, where in my head she was going to think I'm some weird sicko or something. You got to be a psychopath to receive a gift from, we were friends, it wasn't like it was. Anyway.
Yeah. There's an age too where you overthink everything so many steps ahead that you just don't.
Yeah.
You just don't think smart.
Exactly. And then the last one was just in high school. There was some girl that I was really into, and it's just like going back to her house after football games. I was the mascot, not a player. We were the Stallions, so I wore a horse suit. And that wooed her, apparently. I was just back in her basement with her parents gone, and then, it was just like, well, see you later. Never made a move or anything else. And I wrote her a script because I had to write a script to apply to use for my application for film school.
Where'd you go to school again?
I went to North Carolina School of the Arts. Anyway, it was just clearly about us, and that was my way of telling her that I liked her or whatever. Man. And I had picked her up that day, and I was going to give it to her. We drove to some sort of school thing off campus, and while we were at that event, another guy was like, "Hey, I've been into you for a while. We should date." And then that's what she told me on the drive home. She's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go for this Zach guy. He seems really sweet."
Because he just asked.
Because he just fucking asked.
Why? I feel like we're such idiots. Guys are such... I made a fucking website. You wrote these things. You know what I mean? It's just... All you have to do is just go up and say how you feel. But it's so weird because I think when you're a creative type too, it feels less risky to admit your feelings in your work than just do something in life, which is so stupid. You gotta live your life.
Yeah, live in the real world.
Live in the real world.
Don't hide behind fictional characters.
I know.
But yeah, so I just blame everything post 2004. I just blame on Zach Braff and Garden State because I saw that movie. I was like, well, he's just moping around. He got the quirky fun girl.
Yeah,
he
got the perfect manic pixie
exactly
dream girl archetype.
So I'll just sit out on a bench at all the parties, and then some girl just come out because obviously I look like a good time.
Yeah. Hey, what's that song you're listening to on your headphones? It'll change your life.
Chumbawamba.
God, that movie.
All right, so that was when you were 14. And after this relationship has ended, I'm sure that you have evolved and you totally nailed relationships since then, right?
No, quite the opposite. Evolved in almost the opposite direction in some ways. I've had I'm constantly working on shit, I feel like, but I've definitely had, now it's certainly better than I've ever been before at relationships, but that's not saying much. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm an only child, and I sometimes feel like being an only child, it's a strained metaphor, but it's a little bit I feel like there was a day when everyone who was born was handed a manual on how to be a social, normal human being and do relationships. And I just miss that day. If you're an only child, it just feels like, how the fuck does everyone know how to do this?
Right.
Everyone I meet somehow knows how to keep in touch with people and be friends and, you know what I mean? Know when to share and invite someone over and have a good time. And then, how the fuck do you people know this shit? And I'm like, oh, because you had that growing, you didn't grow up, you weren't alone most of your fucking childhood,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. On the other hand, look, there's benefits to it, I'm sure. I think I created a lot of art, which helped me, to get a head start in a lot of ways, but it's still I don't know, is that worth the trade-off? I don't know.
It's hard to say, right?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's worth the trade-off when I'm like, oh, okay, all my art has made me $500 million and I'm sitting on 8 Oscars or whatever. Then I'll be, oh, I was an only child, but it was all worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But
right now it's a question mark.
Now I'm like, all right, yeah, I get to do some shit. I don't know. Yeah, but I have this is more recent. This is from about 3.5, 4 years ago when I'd just gotten out of a relationship that I'd been in through my 20s for like 6.5 years, which is like a super long relationship in your, when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Well, let me start the story, actually. Let me start the story by saying morality is a relative thing, all right? I want to put that thesis out there. That's actually, that's something that I always heard, like, terrible people say to justify doing very bad things, like great dictators throughout history and like, the philosophers who kind of propped up all these horrible movements throughout history. They always had this idea of relative morality, like all the terrible pre-Third Reich philosophers had that. Like it's always been a thing. And I was always like, that's just a terrible justification. But then
that Stalin was onto something.
But then Stalin, was very Kafkaesque. There was after getting out of this relationship, when you're out of a relationship for 6.5 years and you break up with someone after that long, you're not in the best place mentally or let's say morally. Like you have at best a slightly loose moral compass, or in my case, maybe no moral compass, which is what this story's about. Like I said, I'm not going to come across looking good. Even worse than I have so far. So I got out of this relationship, and I was, kind of, let's say, promiscuous after, because I was like, after that time, you're just like, great, I just want to hook up and have fun and not worry about, you're not thinking straight. You're just like getting over the burden of that long of a relationship. So I was kind of enjoying this slightly bohemian life at the time, and found myself around this time at a party in Hollywood. And at this party, I found myself talking to this woman who I'd met a few times before. Because this is closer in time, I'm gonna I won't use her real name, so we'll call her Jennifer. Okay, sure. That's not her real name. Her real name is Selena Doman. But I found myself talking to her, and I'd met her a few times before through some mutual friends, and I knew from them that she had a boyfriend. So I had no interest. She's a lovely woman, just like beautiful again, love, just like she had this like a great sense of humor, I remember, which is a big deal to me. Really funny, and like there's like one of those smiles that kind of lit up the room, She was just like a real ball of, and I guess from the two stories I've told so far, that's kind of my thing. I guess someone who's a real magnet of energy is very attractive. So she like, but I'd known through my friends that she had a boyfriend, like a very serious long-term boyfriend for a while now. So I was like, okay, I put any thoughts of us getting together on my head. We were just talking. Except this night, she seemed to be like flirting with me. It felt like it. She was like standing really close and like, kind of playing with her hair and saying really kind of complimentary things. And then mentioned that her boyfriend was out of town. Like 6 or 7 times she dropped that.
All right.
Which is a lot of times to repeat something, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot of times to repeat one thing, unless you're like, you're delivering the "I have a dream" speech and you're using repetition as a rhetorical device for a much larger cause. In which case, I get it. Right. Which she wasn't.
Wouldn't that have been something?
Oh my God!
Delivering a passionate speech.
To secure.
And you thought she was hitting on you.
Oh God! Boy, have I misread this situation. The ultimate fucking misreader of social cues. Someone's. So it seemed like she was funny. She was talking about a boy, and I was like, okay, this seems interesting. I don't know what's going on. And then she offered to give me a ride home, which I didn't need because my place was like a couple blocks from this party. I just walked over, but I was like, well, all right, sure, because I was a little high, I was a little drunk. Because it's like not that, I was like, all right. And then, like I said, my moral compass a little loose at the time.
Well, it sounds like you're letting her lead the ship. So,
I was like, let's see what happens. Sure. I don't know. This isn't great, but fine. So she drives me home, and as we're getting there, we're already kind of flirting a little bit. We're kind of, it's getting a little, the tension in the air is thicker. And by the time she pulls up outside my apartment building, she stops and kind of looks at me. It's pretty late at night at this point. It's probably like 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. she leans over and suddenly we're kissing, like passionately making out in her car. And I pull off of her and I'm like, whoa, Jennifer, are you sure you want to, again, Jennifer, that's her name. Are you sure you want to do this? You have a boyfriend, right? Like, I clarify it. And she answered me in the tradition of the great Charlie Chaplin, non-verbally. Her reply, oh, I should say, fuck, I forget these stories are not, I mean, these are the little bit of dirt in these stories. She like, as we're making out, our hands are kind of already roaming around each other,
Sure.
you know, and my hand's kind of going up her skirt a little. She's like starts undoing my belt. It's getting really steamy, which is when I pulled up and I was like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
And her answer was to hike up her skirt, pull her underwear to the side, and then leap over the gearbox in like a fucking Jason Bourne action sequence of infidelity directly onto my pee-pee. And so we're off to the races, all right? And so begins this very sordid saga of me sleeping with Jennifer, who had a boyfriend. So in very short order, we start to like bone a lot all the time. Like when he was gone or whatever she'd call, when she was gone, she'd come over, we'd sleep at my place, at her place. When he was gone, their place, actually. It was fucked up.
You have to like put the picture of him down on the bedside table. You know,
I don't think there was one of them. Thank God, because that would be crazy. Oh my God! But it was we'd do it there. But we once in this like seedy ass motel to see what like a seedy place would be like on her balcony while her dog Pixel was watching the whole time. Like,
how'd the hotel feel?
Pretty seedy, but you know, because I was deep in it, I was deep in like I'm a sleazeball.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I bet
it was a motel, not even a hotel. It was like a fucking I don't want to say which one, but it was a sleazy fucking motel, but pretty fun. And I'm not gonna lie, it was very hot. It was like Hiroshima hot.
Now that's hot.
Now that's hot. I'm saying such terrible things, but I'm already there. I'm already deep in the pit.
That's true. Well, I would imagine it had to be because, I mean, if you're starting off with, you know, sex in the car.
Protection-free sex.
Right, yeah.
Right away in a car. I'm like, well, you can only go down from there, deeper into the pit of your own fucking fucked up morality.
How long did this go on?
So this goes on for a couple weeks, and we're still I should say too, one of the reasons it was very, here's the thing about it. She was very into dirty talk, but a very specific genre of dirty talk. This is where, hey, if you're driving around listening to this with kids in the car, by the way, I hope you turned this off half an hour ago because it's only going worse. But really turn it off now. Because when we were doing it, she would say stuff like, my boyfriend would be so furious if he saw this right now. Or like, if my boyfriend saw you fucking me jerk off his little dick. And I was into it.
You're like, yeah, I would.
For whatever reason, it hit the perfect, terrible spot right at the base of my reptilian brain that was like, yeah, this is it. And maybe part of it was like horrible, like I'd been cheated on, you know, maybe like I said in the previous story, maybe there was some fucked up, like completely illogical, but, you know, unconscious, like I don't know, drive towards that.
Sure. Well, it all goes round. You're like, all right,
I guess.
I got cheated on. Now I get to be the one who has the fun part.
But the truth is, I mean, it was still just because my moral compass was all that. I was like, who the fuck needs morality at this point? This was so hot, right?
Yeah.
So like you were asking, it goes on for a couple of weeks, and we're still deep in it. And I'm still enjoying this like fairly new single life at the time. You know, I was like kind of hooking up indiscriminately and just like hanging out with friends, partying a lot. And so another party. I never party this much, by the way. This is not a thing in my life. But at this time, I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I was at a friend's house party in North Hollywood. And at this party, I was, you know, smoking a blunt with a friend. I was like very high. I remember doing some shots and shit. And suddenly I see Jennifer, who knew this friend at this party, coming up to me with kind of like a strange smile on her face, like an unreadable grin.
Okay. All right.
And so she comes over and like we hug hello, and I'm like, hey, well, what's going on? Like just looking, and she looks at me with this like slightly cocked grin and says, my boyfriend's here. Do you want to meet him? Oh man, I remember feeling my fucking stomach like drop, like just
Sobered you up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was still pretty high, but it was a combo of being that swirling high and then this happening. You know what I mean? All the guilt in the universe suddenly like descending on me and my fucking like when you're at the top of the Six Flags, whatever, Lex Luthor drop of doom, and you suddenly drop or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope Six Flags, if you want to sponsor this podcast, this is the first shout out you get. I'll keep doing it.
More to come.
More to come. Yeah. So it felt like that, like all the guilt of this, and I was like, in any right situation where I was in my right mind, I would say, fuck no.
Right.
But because I was a little high, and if I'm being completely honest, a small part of me was like, this could play into a future dirty talk scenario for her.
I was going to say, you've heard so much about him at this point, you might as well meet him.
I mean, hey, I already know the size of his endowments. like, all right, I'm like, sure. And so she leads me over and introduces me to one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Like, just this nice dude. Like, he's like this buff, cool dude.
Yeah.
With like these cool glasses and a tucked in shirt. I remember that detail for some reason. Just his shirt was tucked in. And I was like, huh, interesting. And like he starts talking, making friendly conversation, asking me like very genuine, interested questions about India where I grew up, right? Yeah. In a way that's very like, I don't want to say, like that's so genuine and curious. Like I'll give you an example of the opposite because that happens more. Like when I was in college, my roommate in college once asked me, "Hey, so do you guys have paper money in India, or do you use like, jewels?" Like no, it's a fucking country. It's not fucking Zelda. But this dude, like the opposite of that,
right.
Like just these very genuine, curious questions that were so like unknowledgeable. I was like, God damn it, he's so nice. And looking over at Jennifer and being like, we've been fucking. It's so fucked up. But like all the guilt of the universe is swirling around me. And then at some point, she mentions or he mentions, I wish I remembered exactly what the sentence was, but one of them mentions their dog. And I just blurred out like, oh yeah, Pixel is so cute. Ooh. No one said the name of the dog so far except me.
Yeah.
And, to the outside world, we're nothing more than very casual acquaintances. Right. There's no indication I've been to the house or whatever. And he just kind of looks at me a little odd and is like, oh, you've met Pixel. You met our dog. And I could have played that off in so many ways in retrospect, right? Like, no, I've seen her Instagram where I bet she's there's a picture or like I ran into them on a hike,
Any number of things.
Any number where she mentioned, she showed me a picture on her phone. Anything.
Yeah.
But because I have all the guilt in the universe swirling around my head, like the Six Flags Hurricane Harbor vortex of doom, whatever.
There we go.
There you go, Six Flags. Sponsor this show. Because of that, instead, when he's like, oh, you met our dog, I say, dog? Oh, no, dog. No. I was talking about. I have a niece. My niece is named Pixel. She's really cute. She's she's a niece, and I just like go into. It must have been like a 3-minute explanation about how I have a niece called Pixel, and Pixel is an Indian name.
You probably did sound like Woody Allen. Well, the thing of the matter is, my nephew,
my uncle named my niece Pixel. It's short for the Indian goddess, the Pixelanchu. Yeah, I just like go into this fucking fugue state where I just don't know what's happening, explaining what the fuck it is, and then at some point maybe he buys it, maybe not. And I very quickly make my exit. I'm just like, okay, well, I gotta go and leave. Like just after that strange thing.
Just pull out your phone. They're calling.
I gotta go. And there was something about the sheer embarrassment of that moment, coupled with this realization that he was like a real person, not just a manifestation of our fucking dirty talk. He was like right there in that room, a real person who still, for all I know, might be telling people, hey, we named our dog after the Indian goddess Pixel because of that story. Something about that made me go, like, I gotta fucking tighten up my moral compass and get it back in working order and end this thing with Jennifer. And so we talked, and I ended it with Jennifer after we had sex 6 more times. I'm a terrible person. Morality is a fucking relative thing,
So each of those last 6 times, before each time, would you be like, all right, after this time, I'm doing it. Cutting it off. And then you wouldn't be able to. Yeah.
Oh, and then she dirty talk about that party, and I was like, oh god, it's so fucked up. It's so truly one of the most just egregious scumbag things I've done. I've done other things that I'm not a great person in many, many, many ways, but this was the most like on the nose bad person, knowledgeable. Most of the things I've done that are bad were like fucked up, dealing with fucked up shit in my past that I hadn't resolved from my childhood or whatever, and not knowing, not consciously being awful. Like when I was in, like being in relationships when I was like just I don't know, but emotionally bad, you know, or not a. I'm not saying I was terrible, but like even just being like jealous or insecure or something like that.
Right.
Those were always not consciously actively bad.
Yeah.
They were bad, but they were like
subconscious things that you hadn't worked through.
Exactly.
And therefore you were an asshole or
yeah, manifesting themselves in ways that I'm now in retrospect, I'm like, God, I feel nothing but regret for that. I wish I could change. But they were more a consequence of believing my beliefs at the time.
Right.
Rather than this one, which was knowing something was bad and then pursuing it for the pure pleasure of it, which I now realize is the definition of monstrous of evil morality.
Was it weighing on you more and more each time that you guys would hook
No.
up? No.
It was too hot to do that. Honestly, it was just like, but yeah, that's like, you know, I don't know. I guess there's no real lesson in these stories more than, I don't know, try to be better, but also sometimes you look back on the fucked up things you've done and you're like, that was quite an experience, and I'm not mad at, you know, on the other hand, it shaped something in me. I don't know. Relationships are weird.
Well, if it wasn't weighing on you more and more each time, what finally put you over the hump and allowed you to break free of it?
You know, maybe it was weighing on me. I think what I meant was in the act of actually hooking up with each other.
Sure.
It was out of my mind, but I'm sure after each time I was like, God, we gotta not do this. I think also the fact that, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely wasn't the only dude she was cheating on him with, and I think I was kind of just like, I think I was getting over that phase of being freshly single where I was like anything goes.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I think I want something a little more meaningful. I think I at least want to start meeting people who I can consider seriously dating eventually.
Right.
You know, I think I was just in that phase like I don't want to. I don't know. It's also, you know, look, if you're out there sleeping with somebody who has a committed partner is a very dangerous affair. It's very dangerous. We were sleeping in their house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what
could
could
have come
happen.
home at any time.
Yeah, it's a weird, dangerous thing that I don't want to be involved with. And
No.
also, yeah, I don't know. I don't begrudge myself doing it, but I don't think it was a smart thing.
No, probably not. But so in that 6-year relationship, had you broken it off, or had she?
I did.
Oh, you did.
It was
Okay.
at the we'd been kind of the last even 2 years of it were not great. We'd been kind of on a downward spiral already. It wasn't doing well, and but yeah, I did end it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can kind of. I have a story. I didn't know that I was in an affair, and I guess I technically wasn't. In the sense, okay, so I had met somebody. I was living in North Carolina, and I met somebody on Tinder, and it went surprisingly well, like the date and everything else. And she's like, "Do you want to go back to my place?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And we did, and we started hooking up, and I heard a sound from the closet. And it wasn't like a cough or something that was clearly a person, but it was just like some rustling or something. But, you know, when you're zoned in on sex, you're just like, whatever, that's probably fine. And then right as we were getting to the sex, a guy comes out of the closet with a camera and is filming it.
What?
And
holy shit!
Freaked me the fuck out.
So they were doing this because the dude wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Well, how can you not tell the other person? That's so funny.
I know.
And then reveal yourself?
Yeah.
Why did he reveal himself? What a weird thing.
I think that maybe they get off on the reactions of strangers.
Jesus, you find out you're on a prank show?
Yeah. I was like, Ashton Kutcher, you've gone too far. This is too far.
Gotcha.
You cannot show penetration on MTV.
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. And the guy was just like, yeah, what do you think now? And he was like talking like, what was he? I mean, I've honestly kind of blocked a lot of it out. And he was
so
like,
messed up.
what do you think if I put this camera down and join in on the fun? And I like just jumped up, put on my clothes. I was missing a shoe.
Shit.
It was almost like out of sideways, but instead of leaving my wallet, I left a shoe, and I never even went back to get it.
I mean,
because I don't,
Yeah.
And I just ran out of there. And of course, she sent me a message. It was just like, hey, thought you'd be down.
You gotta mention that.
Yeah, there was no context in Tinder where she was alluding to things or like, she didn't even mention a boyfriend.
Jeez, I didn't know people use Tinder to set up sting operations like that. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
That's wild. I've never done any of the online or app dating things. I think I don't know what I mean, I'm sure they're wonderful, but I don't know what are there ones that are differently oriented? Like one is a hookup one is a relationship one. Is Tinder like more of a hookup thing, right?
I think so. And thankfully, I haven't been on it in over 3 years because I'm finally in a good relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was like
same.
Yeah, with that
person.
yeah. I gave it a second thought. I thought, well, if he just stays in the closet the whole time.
I notice your closet is rattling quite a lot as we're recording this podcast.
Yeah, I do the much more tame version, which is to have people over for a podcast and then have a guy come out with a camera.
You like that?
Yeah. Want me to join in? But yeah, I think at the time, Tinder, I mean, I to me, they've all just been hookup things. Because it's like, what? I mean, if we're going on a date based on photos, I don't know. It's got to be more physical than any. I'm sure that there's...
Oh, is it not like a whole profile of... I
mean, there is, but it's like...
It's really just a photo thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it. You could put like a paragraph or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be an app that's dedicated to like couples looking for a partner. I think there is. Yeah, Trinder or something like that.
Oh, there's got to be.
Someone talking about this at a show where they were like, she's this woman who I think is like in a relationship now, but she was she was talking about they would find threesome partners, like I don't know if it was a boyfriend or just like a lover, but they would go on there and there is an app dedicated to that, which I'm like, why not use that instead of Tinder and then like prank unsuspecting fucking hookups? That's so weird.
Yeah, and I don't even think that they were pranking. I think that's just,
their thing.
Yeah, like they probably didn't even give a shit about me. Well, clearly they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was...
I would scour porn sites to see if that video is online somewhere where you were being caught. Like, huh? Just like...
That's true.
Look up all the terms you can that you think describe you. You think describe a porn site we used to describe you.
Tubby guy.
Prank, surprise.
Yeah, prank, surprise, freak out.
Yeah.
Something or another.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of curious, and we don't have to go into it, but you said you kind of made peace with a lot of other stuff.
Somewhat. I mean, I'm still working on it. I started doing like therapy the last couple of years. It's more like, I think comes from like, I'm an only child. I'm like from God, I hope not. There's a long list of people I hope don't listen to this, including my first girlfriend, Diane, Jennifer, or this woman, my parents, now that I'm about to talk about this. But like, I'm from my family split up pretty young. And when you're an only child, when that happens, I feel like that fucks you up in many ways because you don't have anyone to talk about it to. You know what I mean? It's not like you have a sibling to compare notes with at all.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. I think that did a lot of damage. But also it's probably the reason I enjoyed a weird affair thing or whatever. Like,
right.
So it's working through a lot of those issues. And I've getting better at it. I don't know. Check in with me in a couple. It's such a slow, weird process, this stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. I saw a psychiatrist for a while. And then thankfully it got to the point where I realized I was making things up to talk about. So I was like, I'm
that's
probably
good.
okay now,
That's good news. Yeah.
But it took a little while,
It does. I mean, it's useful to talk to someone, obviously, but I do think I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't think therapy is like a cure-all. I feel like people look at it that way, and I think you got to do way more work outside of it.
Yeah.
On yourself alone, whatever that means, whether it's like writing and journaling or like questioning your beliefs in your past and doing all that, but you got to do so much more homework, basically. Therapy is a little bit like just like going to a lecture about yourself, and then you got to go do the homework to actually get the benefit of it.
Right, you got to take the notes.
You got to take the notes and then like to reflect on it and think about it a lot and really put the pieces together.
Yeah, and what I think I did was just the stuff that I was talking about or the feelings that I would have when whatever happened, when they were actually happening outside of it, I'd have to like stop myself and be like, oh, this is the thing. This you're feeling that way that you talked about. Don't do the thing you normally do.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Totally.
Just being really present, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad progress has been made.
Yeah.
You know?
Slowly but surely. Yeah. I think also, I mean, for me personally, I mean, as a writer, as someone who writes for, as part of what I do, I feel like that has been helpful too, just to sublimate things into even a story, even making them into a slightly entertaining story.
Right.
Feels like, well, that helps you process what you were thinking at the time and what the deeper things inside you are,
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's a great chance for like reflection,
It is. You still got to go to battle with the demons
Right.
at some point, but but at least it helps you identify them. And like, I don't know, humor is a good way to pull them into the light.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask, like, how average is this for an episode where do people talk about pretty fucked up shit?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No, I talked with a guy who explained, like, he basically, and he was really open about it, just had like 10 years of being unfaithful in relationships.
Whoa.
And really just broke down where it came from, how it affected him. Because he did Second City in Chicago and was on the main stage there and
What's
basically
his
just like
name?
burned. Martin Morrow is his name. But yeah, it was a really great conversation because I'd never heard cheating from the person who did it in a way where you could almost, I mean, he wasn't looking for sympathy, but it all pieced together based on everything else that had happened in his life.
It's never arbitrary, I don't think.
No.
I don't think there's, yeah. It's just, I don't know. Human beings are complicated and weird and
Right. Yeah.
multifaceted.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
The last thing was just, because I just talked with a comedian from Australia yesterday, and we were just talking about moving here and the similarities or differences between the countries and all that stuff. So, like, when you did come here for college, was it at all kind of a learning curve? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a bit of a culture shock. And I mean, it was a double header of going to college is already a big transitional phase in a young person's life, and then also assimilating to another culture, a different country. That's another ongoing thing, I guess, where I'm just like, constantly grappling with what it means to kind of be an immigrant or like have a dual identity, kind of be bicultural in a lot of ways.
Right.
Because my whole childhood was in India.
Yeah.
I still visit and go back and have roots there. But my whole adult life, for the most part, being here besides traveling back. So, yeah, you end up having kind of a strange forked identity.
Were there a couple, just off the top of your head, like a couple specific things that were just very different?
Yeah.
Here?
Well, I had a wild culture shock. It must have been a couple weeks into being at USC, which is a very specific place to be because USC is, for those who don't know, a very like fratty and sorority driven place. At least when I was there, I'm sure it still is. Very, the Greek life, as they call it, is big there.
Yeah.
And frats and sororities, and I'm sure they're wonderful people, but they're very homogenous. Let's just say you ain't gonna see any Indian dudes in a frat. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's mostly like, especially some of them are specifically like I remember going to a friend took me to, I can't remember if it was a sorority invite or a frat party where there was a lot of like sorority girls or something, one of those things.
Yeah.
And, I got there and was like, oh, shit, I'm the only slightly brown person here. Everyone, there was this one sorority called Pi Phi that it was exclusively tall, blonde girls. Exclusively. It seemed to almost like it was like almost like a casting call went out.
Wow.
And they only took
Aryan women.
Yes,
Yeah.
tall, pretty blonde women. And I remember at that party wandering into like a room and seeing these like three girls doing rails of coke with $20 bills off a table. And I was like, oh shit, this is America. Like immediately just being like, not realizing what a tiny sample I'd got of a weird party in America. But I was like, oh, I guess this is how people do it here. I was like a 17-year-old kid and like people party here by just fucking doing cocaine in back rooms. Yeah, it was pretty wild. And then, after that, I mean, there was a bunch of things. Just like small things, little things,
Yeah.
I still constantly come up against them. Like, especially I do a lot of improv and other forms of comedy, but improv specifically is such a collaborative form that when I'm in improv scenes frequently, especially performers of my generation and below, lots of pop culture references to like the 90s and American pop culture in the 90s. Because I didn't grow up here, huge holes in that. So when people bring up like Clarissa Explains It All, I'm like, who the fuck is Clarissa? Like, I don't know what those scenes are, and I usually just make them about something.
Right.
I'd label it as something else, and then that becomes a new fun reality.
Right. Yeah.
So stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 90s pop culture is in full swing right now.
It is.
All of us, we're all the ones buying stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody that's like, 28 to 34 or something, I feel like all these 90s shows are coming back. And
either buying or making stuff. I feel like we're also the generation where the artists are around our age or slightly older, or, like they're creating the pop culture. So it's nostalgic in a way for that era.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. So interesting.
Anyway, none of us want to grow up.
No.
Yeah,
we are kind of the man-child, woman-child generation more than the previous ones.
I think so.
Because like everything's later with our generation. People are getting married way later, having kids later. Or like, I don't know. There's kind of all the comedies of the 2000s to the 2010s, like the Judd Apatow dominated landscape, were about boy children who don't want to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's interesting.
Our modern take on Peter Pan.
Yeah. There's a bit of a Peter Pan syndrome happening, I think.
Yeah. If only we could learn to fly. Well, where can people find you on the social media and all that?
At my name, Dhruv Uday Singh, DHRUV, check out I co-host a podcast called I'm Too Effing High, where we get comedians and actors and musicians high on marijuana and then give them comedic challenges. It's also a live show at UCB. Check that out. I don't know.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, and
thanks for having me. I hope I haven't been too Hitlerian or insert other awful person.
Nope, I don't think so. Just a person.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks again.
Good. Thank you.
That was the episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Dhruv. Again, I really appreciate his and all the guests that have been on the show, their ability to just be open and honest and own the shitty things they've done before. If you'd like to follow Dhruv on social media, if you look in the description of this episode, I provide his Instagram handle, and it should be a link so you can click on it, and then it'll take you right to his page. I suggest it. He's a really funny guy. Again, he performs regularly at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theaters here in Los Angeles, so if you're ever in the area, check him out. Now, I wanted to share an email that I received from Mickey. It just made me feel good. Sometimes, when you're early on in the process of creating a show, I know I've put out 60 of these, but it's still fairly early to me. Sometimes you feel like you're just throwing these out into the void, and you don't know if people are liking it or not. And, I can see how many people are downloading the episodes, which is nice, but it feels extra nice just to hear from somebody who enjoys the show. So this is what Mickey had to say. Hey, Joe, I've been a Black Veil Brides fan since 2011 and an Average Joe fan since Season 1 was fully posted. I just like how insightful the show is. I can tell you guys have fun because of how fun it is to listen to you, but I think what's even cooler is how these stories put everything into perspective. I've prided myself on my open-mindedness for most of my life, but this show pushes that even further. I'm not really the type of person who hides things. If people want to know, I'll tell unless it's not my business to share. Yet something about listening to you all speak so candidly makes me want to just sit and talk about the 20 years I've been sentient on this magic rock to anyone who will listen. It makes it much easier to relate to other humans because I just think we're all basically in the same boat and there's no shame in being unapologetically yourself. Your show reminds me of how beautifully simple life is. Things just are what they are, and that's that. All of that said, my life has been too uneventful for me to share a story unless you're in the mood to be bummed out or otherwise unhappy, because none of what I do have to tell is particularly funny, but I felt compelled to tell you how much I enjoy Bad Times, Good Stories. I know words of thanks and well wishes don't pay the bills, but it's all I have to give until I finish school. And now that I've wasted enough time, I just want to say thanks for Average Joe and Bad Times, Good Stories and The Andy Show and all the things we get to look forward to in the future. Good day, good night, and good job. Thank you, Mickey. I really appreciate that. It is nice to hear from somebody who enjoys the program, and At the end there, when she referenced the Andy Show, that is a show that I do with my cousin, Andy Biersack. You can also find that wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a lot of fun. We put out a half-an-hour episode every week. I enjoy doing it. It's fun doing a show with family. Once again, if you enjoyed today's episode, please write a review on iTunes or just click the 5 stars. You don't even have to write a review. Just click 5 stars, and that'll go a long way in helping us continue to grow the show. Again, let's try and get to 50 of those 5 stars / reviews. You can also check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, merch, and Patreon. Also, look forward in the near future, you will be able to watch episodes on YouTube. We're going to start filming episodes, so that is something that you can look out for. It'll be on my YouTube page, youtube.com/the Joe Flanders. If you head over there now, you can watch all 3 seasons of my series Average Joe, in which I play a bumbling, more awkward version of myself navigating the dating world. It's a show I'm very proud of. If you're not familiar with it and you like this podcast, I have a feeling you'll like Average Joe too. That's all I've got for this week. Until next Wednesday, keep laughing.